What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to change it up a little bit and do some basketball returns, and these are going to be awesome, baby. Well, if that didn't give it away, I don't know what else would, but we'll get to his return for the end here. But I'm going to start out with saying I'm going to profile each of the individuals that signed for me, and you may have seen some of these cards in my recent pickups video at card shows. And my first return is from former NBA power forward center Dorie Murrey on 2 of 2. And I picked these tall boys up at a card show a little while back, and I decided to stick them in the mail and ask Dorie to sign them. So let me tell you about Dorie Murrey and his career in basketball. Dorie Murrey, standing at 6'8", was a power forward center that grew up in Detroit, Michigan, where he attended Cass Technical High School. He then moved on to Detroit Mercy, where he played his collegiate ball from 1963 to 1966. Well, I guess the Pistons took notice because they drafted Dorie in the second round in the 1966 draft. And in 1966, Dorie found himself playing for the Detroit Pistons. As a rookie with the Pistons, Dorie would appear in 35 games coming off the bench with limited duty, about 9 minutes a game. But after that 66-67 season concluded, Dorie was not protected on the roster, and he was actually selected by the Seattle Supersonics in the expansion draft. Well, the 24-year-old packed his bags, moved across the country to Seattle, and appeared in 81 games for the expansion Seattle Supersonics, where he posted 7.3 points per game in about 18.5 minutes per game. He would continue this role for the Sonics, being a bench player in 1968 and 69. And in 1969-1970, he would appear in 81 games for the Sonics that year. Well, after that season concluded, the Seattle Supersonics did not protect him in the draft, and Dorie found himself being selected again for the expansion draft. And on the back of this card, you actually can see him with his luggage saying headed to the Trailblazers. Well, here's the irony in that. So this is Dorie's card right here. Well, here's the thing. He goes to the Trailblazers in the expansion draft, and he only appears in 2 games for the Trailblazers before they trade him to the Baltimore Bullets. So even though he only played in 2 games for Portland, he got cards with Portland. That's a very rare thing, especially when it comes to basketball cards from this era. For guys that only play 2 games with the team, that they put them on that. But if you look really closely, you can see the Seattle Sonics colors on his jacket there. So this is actually probably a photo that Topps probably had in the vault, so to speak. And then they saw the trade, and they're like, well, let's just throw Portland on there and put the thing on the back about that. But you can clearly see he's wearing his Supersonics pullover on that. So with Baltimore, he finished out the year, that 70-71 season with them, appearing in 69 games. Again, about 10 minutes off the bench. And in 71-72, he would again play a pivotal role coming off the bench for Baltimore. However, after that 71-72 season, he would be let go by the Baltimore Bullets and not play in the NBA again. During his 6-year NBA career, Dorie averaged 4.7 points per game and about 4 rebounds a game in 357 career games. And, this is, not a bad career, I guess, for somebody coming off the bench to play in the NBA. But unfortunately, this is during the era where those guys didn't make a lot of money. So I'm not really sure what Dorie did after his playing career, because obviously at that age, he probably had to get in a second profession and work in some other field, because he certainly didn't make a whole lot of money playing the NBA. But very happy to add Dorie to the collection, and we'll move on to the next return. All right, so this next one is a return on some more tall boys from the same set, and this is a return from Henry Finkel, or Hank Finkel, he also goes by. I actually happen to have another card of Henry, So I included that, and on top of that, let me adjust the camera so you can see them. On top of that, I stuck these index cards in to protect the oversized cards, and he signed those as well and inscribed them Celtics. So Henry Finkel actually signed 6 things for me in this return. So let me tell you about Henry Finkel and his career in basketball, which is kind of amazing. Standing at 7 foot, 240 pounds, Henry Finkel was not a highly regarded prospect playing in high school. He grew up in New Jersey and attended high school in New Jersey and actually enrolled in nearby St. Peter's University. However, he dropped out when he found out his father was dying of cancer. So Henry took it upon himself to support his family, working as a sandblaster in a shipyard. And he was out with some friends one night, and he was at, of all places, a Dairy Queen. And while he was at Dairy Queen, a scout who saw him play in high school that was actually for the University of Dayton said, "Hey, I saw you in high school. What are you doing now?" And Henry said, "Well, I'm working and supporting my family." And the University of Dayton allowed him to come and play for them. So this guy was discovered working on docks and then at a Dairy Queen of all places. But when you're 6'11", later to be listed as 7 foot, you kind of stand out a little bit. So Finkel redshirted his first year, and he went to go play under longtime coach Tom Blackburn, who's historic in Dayton University's basketball program. And his first year as a sophomore, when he was eligible, he averaged 23 points and 13 rebounds a game for Dayton, improving their record to 15-10. Unfortunately, Coach Blackburn passed away battling cancer just a few days later after that final game of the season. As a junior with a new coach, Finkel improved his scoring record to 25 points per game and 14 rebounds a game. The Flyers finished 22-7 that season. His senior year at 65-66, Finkel averaged 22.7 points per game and 12 rebounds a game. So a true presence in the middle for Dayton. In 1965, he scored a career-high 44 points against the University of Maryland. He led the Flyers to the NCAA tournament, to the Sweet 16, those 2 seasons, his junior and senior season, and he finished his career with Dayton as the 3rd all-time leading scorer in history. So due to his eligibility, he was actually eligibly drafted by the Lakers in his first couple seasons with Dayton. However, he was drafted by the Lakers and then again by the Sixers, but he remained loyal to Dayton and played through his senior season. Well, the Lakers decided to draft him again, and in 27 games, he averaged just 5 minutes a game, backing up backup center to the Darrell Imhoff. So he just played in 27 games with 5 minutes because he was the backup to the backup Darrell Imhoff on the Lakers. On May 1st, 1967, he was drafted by the San Diego Rockets in the NBA expansion draft. His playing time and production greatly increased from his rookie year. He played in 53 games, 21 minutes a game, and had 11.6 points and 7 rebounds a game. All were career highs at this point. The following season, though, his 3rd season in the NBA, his playing time did dip again, and he just appeared in 35 games for the Rockets in just about 9 minutes a game. On August 22nd, 1969, he was traded to the defending NBA champion Boston Celtics, which were then coached by Hall of Famer Bill Russell, or future Hall of Famer Bill Russell. Russell had been the player coach for the Celtics championship season, but he decided to step away for both roles after that year. With Russell no longer playing as the Celtics roster was aging, in 1969-70, the perennial NBA champs record fell to a 34-48 record, which was unknown for the Celtics at the time. So Finkel had to step in the shoes of Bill Russell, and he basically took over, appearing in 80 games for them that year. He averaged 9.7 points a game and 7 rebounds a game. However, those were not Bill Russell numbers, so he took a lot of heat for that. The following year in 70-71, the Celtics would draft another center, future Hall of Famer Dave Cowens, and Finkel would become the primary backup to Dave Cowens. In his 6th NBA season, he appeared in 78 games. His minutes dropped to just 9 minutes a game, with averages of 3 and 3 a game. He played 3 more seasons with the Celtics, averaging about 7 minutes. On the 73-74 team, he was part of the championship team that beat the Bucks. He played in all 7 games of that 73-74 season. In November 1975, the Celtics decided to release Finkel, ending his NBA career. After his career ended, he would stay loyal to the Boston area. He would actually work for the Celtics as a broadcaster for Sports Channel, and he would then work for a short time for the Cleveland Cavaliers as a scout. But on the side, Hank would use his business degree that he obtained at Dayton, and he would start his own business called Hank Finkel and Associates, which would be a office furniture company that he would run post-playing career. So I'm not sure if Hank is still, or Henry is still working for the furniture company. He is 81 years old as of me shooting this video, so I would guess he might be retired from that job as well. But thank you very much, Mr. Finkel, for signing these for me and signing those extra index cards. Those were only in there simply to just protect those cards, but I'll take them, and we'll move on to the final return. Alright, so this final return I kind of hinted at already, and it is indeed a return from legendary Hall of Famer, broadcaster / coach Dick Vitale, or Dickie V. He also included an extra signed website connection, I guess you would call it. However, he bent it in the middle to get it in the envelope. So it's kind of damaged, but still that's kind of a really nice gesture of Dick to include that extra autograph in there. So I sent these 2 cards to him. He signed them in black Sharpie. I really wish he would have signed them in blue. They probably would have showed up a lot better. But regardless, they are signed by Dick. So let me tell you about Dickie V and his career in basketball, because it's just kind of amazing. With that said, ESPN recently did a documentary on Dick Vitale. It's called simply Dickie V. If you guys stream or you're subscribed to ESPN or any of those things, I definitely recommend watching it, because it really captures his career way better than I ever could on my channel with just me talking about it. So if you get a chance, check out that documentary. So Dick Vitale grew up in New Jersey. He was not really a basketball player. He was not somebody that was a great athlete even. And he graduated from East Rutherford High School in Jersey. Then later went on to attend Seton Hall University, where he got a business administration degree in 1962. Well, his first job came before he graduated from college, and he took an elementary school position as a teacher while he was coaching their basketball team. He would coach Garfield High School for 1 season, and then would move back to his alma mater, East Rutherford High School, and he would coach them while he was finishing his college, and would take them to a 130-win season and 47 record from 1964 to 1971, and this included 2 New Jersey State championships. So this is a guy that never played basketball, was a huge student of the game, made himself a better coach by simply taking in everything that he learned and giving that to his students. Well, from this, he would get a call to go to Rutgers University and be an assistant coach under Dick Lloyd. He was then moved from Rutgers and went to the University of Detroit, also Detroit Mercy, where he took the Titans to a 32-team NCAA tournament in 1977. While at Detroit, Vitale had a 78-win and 30-loss record, which included a 21-game winning streak in the 77 season. Well, the woo of the Detroit Pistons decided to hire Vitale, and he moved across town and became the coach of the Detroit Pistons on May 1st, 1978. He signed a 3-year contract and also got a Cadillac from the Pistons, However, the Pistons finished with a 30-52 record in the 78-79 season. In his second year in 1979, owner Bill Davidson came to Vitale's house and told him the Pistons were making a change at the coaching position. Well, this was a thing that really put Dick down in the dumps, and he talked about this in his documentary. And then the phone rang. Somebody that knew him from his past, because they were impressed with him or whatever, gave him a call and said, hey, we're a new startup company called ESPN, and we're looking for people to broadcast games. Well, Dick didn't know anything about broadcasting. He went to school for business, not mass communication, and he decided to work his first game on December 5th, 1979, when DePaul played Wisconsin. Well, his enthusiasm showed, and ESPN made him a permanent person, a part of their broadcasting team. And to put it in perspective, Vitale stuck there for over 40 years. I mean, he has become known as the college basketball guru. He's appeared in movies, he's appeared in shows, he's appeared in so many things. Eventually, Vitale would be elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Coach Bob Knight was a very big influence on him getting his election to the Hall of Fame. If you watch college basketball over the last 40 years, you know who Dick Vitale is. I actually remember buying his Sega Genesis game, the basketball game on my Sega Genesis back in the 90s. Spoiler alert, it's not a real good game. It does not measure up to the other games of that era. But I do remember getting it and having a fun time playing it for a little bit. So I certainly want to thank Dick Vitale for signing for me these two cards and including this free one as well. I also want to thank Mr. Finkel, Henry Finkel, for signing these cards for me and going way above and beyond, more than he had to, signing these extra index cards and throwing those into the equation as well. I also want to thank Dorie Murrey for signing his tall boy cards for me as well. I hope you enjoyed this episode talking about some basketball players from the 1960s and 70s, and also Hall of Fame legend Dick Vitale. I look forward to your comments below, and as always, happy collecting.